The people calling for the military rule, ask them today. Ask them today why they are calling for it. It is just to curb what they think is corruption, what they think is not going right. And you see, they will kill you even before you are judged.
CDD.
That is what I am preventing.
CDD, Civil Society Organization, CDD, is telling you that you lose $2 billion to corruption in Ghana every year. You tell me we think that there is corruption.
So is democracy really under attack? This is a question I'm asking because of the AfroBarometer report that was released yesterday.
Yeah.
So 40% of Ghanaians are saying that they want the military to intervene when those elected abuse power. And 60% of the population also said they don't want them to even meddle themselves in the politics of this country. But averagely, on the African continent, a whopping 63% want military rule if those elected are abusing power.
That's crazy.
This is serious. I don't know how to think, because in 2023, the reports, 2023-2024, the reports as compared to the 2013 one, 86% then did not want military intervention, and that has increased to 55%.
It has decreased.
It has decreased
to 55%.
To 55%.
So about 30% more people think that military rule is
Are we getting it wrong?
Of course. The only person
with this democracy thing.
The only person who will say we are not getting it wrong is the beneficiaries of the so-called democracy that we run in this country today, which are the active players, the politicians. Seriously, it's like you asking me that, is digital marketing even worth it in marketing? I work in digital marketing. That's where I get my daily bread. I'll say, hell yeah. And that it shouldn't be changed, because that's where my bread is battered. So it's the same thing. There's only the politicians who will say that democracy should continue as it is. But the numbers are overwhelming. And I don't see how they have the heart to defend the type of democracy we have had in the last 3 decades, you know?
So in the same report, we have 67% of the population trusting the army. And that's, so you see, it goes without saying that we want them to come in.
We trust them better.
But I have a problem with that.
Okay, what's your problem?
My problem is that those of us calling for this military intervention haven't tasted what the people who really, really, really went through the military system did. And we are talking because of how we are feeling now.
So what really happened that is not happening under so-called democracy, or hasn't happened under the so-called democracy we have? The only difference is that whereas under military rule, the change of government comes with lots of bloodshed and destabilization and all kinds of things. Soldiers wield arms, shoot, do all kinds of things before, power is transferred. Under democracy, we go and queue like we are not even given the decency of properly managed election systems where you don't have to go and stand on your feet the whole day from dawn to dusk to get the chance to vote. That we are subjected to all of that, but granted, it's better than the guns and all that. For me, that's just the difference. Because when you talk about press freedom, it is very arguable whether press freedom in the strictest sense of it is better under a so-called democracy than military rule. Oh yes, on the face of it and logically, more radio stations are allowed under democracy, which are not allowed.
Yes.
And you can express your opinion and sometimes not get victimized or vilified under democracy. Not always. But under military rule, depending on the leader you have, it might be a problem. Look, the differences are there. But in my opinion, if you put them to the strictest test, they are not that different. Like the difference is not that big, actually.
But you see, that little difference is what I am afraid of. Because you see,
What are the
like I'm
trade-offs?
saying, the generation calling for this military rule, I stand to be corrected, but they are 40 years and below. And if you are 40 or below, it means you didn't really experience the military rule. You didn't.
I'm 40 and below, but the stories I heard about military rule was that there was extreme farming. There was extreme monopolization of essential goods and services. That even people queue before the Kenke is ready, right? Because there are just few maize distributors or
and that was under military rule.
No, that was before the current military rule we refer to, like the latest military rule we refer to came to power. That is the mess that military rule came to curb.
No.
It's true.
No.
Because
you see, you see, even under democracy.
Let's look at the dates.
Okay.
So Rawlings, the first Rawlings attempted coup was in 79.
79.
It was against the military government.
Yes.
Like things were bad. The economy was in tatters, all of that, and they tried to save this country. So they overthrew a military government, and then they gave the reins of the country back to civilian rule, to Liman, right? Then the second coup came in 81, 82. That was just like a year.
2 years. 3 years.
Before the famine.
Well, yeah. 1 year,
exactly.
2 years.
So again, the economy was in dire straits when they came. And then it hit a crescendo. And their policy was that it's corruption, right? That was driving the economy to that level. So they were forced to take some drastic steps. I am not commending those steps. I am just saying that what I read was that it was a means to restructure the economy. Maybe a bad means, but after that,
I like that.
It went.
A bad means.
Yes, but
maybe.
After that, this country went on some sort of economic stability to a certain extent. So what I have read, I will not look at it in total terrible terms like the way maybe other people would look at it, because I heard that it was necessary. It came and it sorted the situation. After all, I didn't come to meet farming under Rawlings. So you can say...
So that is what I'm saying. This is just one of the many things we didn't meet.
So my point is it's arguable.
It is arguable, but you see, reality is different from what you hear or what you've heard in the past. So how come
people were calling Rawlings little Jesus? Like he was the Messiah.
He was the Messiah, but he had a sense. Of course. So if we are to measure the pros and cons of each,
so let's measure it there.
Let's do that.
It's only one. It's only
your freedom to start with. Your freedom.
If you are hungry, do you have freedom?
Yes.
How?
If I'm hungry, and I can open my mouth and sit on this platform and even tell the government in the face.
You have the energy to come.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I am trying to prevent, because those calling for it, we are chop. Meanwhile, we can't.
The same way Rwanda voted for Kagame, that they say
I have my issues with that.
Human rights.
I have the issue with that.
They voted for him 99.9%. Why? They have abundance of food.
You think they are of themselves?
They are okay.
They are of themselves.
Whichever way, they are seeing progress.
Even that is arguable, because Kigali is seen as this developed city, but
let's not
digress. But I'm saying that what we are calling for, we should be ready to dance to the music.
What is
because
the music?
You see, people died until date. We don't even know the people that killed them. And that the same
people.
No.
People.
We even have the 3 judges we've not even resolved.
For me, that is the
kangaroo
blemish.
courts
for
where
me, for me, that will be the blemish. But you see, like everything else, you will find people who argue for it. The reason why Rawlings was so charismatic was that the majority of the people needed him to save them.
It was also because the people feared him. Simplicity. Because if you dare go contrary to what he says, you will face the music. It is true.
It's even argued that today that Rawlings is not feared. If Rawlings could stand for an election today, I tell you win.
Because most of us calling for his comeback did not experience him at his worst.
This is a guy who ruled this country for about 2 decades.
Years.
So let's say 1 decade, and then he put us on the path of democracy and won 2 elections.
I am of the view that Rawlings had a chance to change this country.
Uh-huh.
It was during his tenure. If he had told us to sleep, we will sleep.
Yes.
If he had told us to do something to reform this country, we would have done that.
Yes.
He had all these opportunities and he just squandered them.
Yes, because he didn't know the know-how. He didn't have the know-how.
And that
he
is
had
what
the
I'm saying,
charisma,
that
but
the
he didn't have the
military's
know-how.
place is not to run a country.
We all agree.
Yours is to protect us on our borders.
We all agree.
Yes.
But the bedrock of our argument is that the call is because democracy has failed. You see, one mistake we make is that when these conversations come up, we don't use it as an opportunity to interrogate the failings of democracy. All we do is, well, is bad and this is worse.
No.
That's all we do.
No.
If it's bad, then this is worse. And if this is worse, then let's stick to this as it is.
No. The people calling for the military rule, ask them today. Ask them today why they are calling for it. It is just to curb what they think is corruption, what they think is not going right. And you see, they will kill you even before you are judged.
CDD.
That is what I am preventing.
CDD, Civil Society Organization, CDD, is telling you that you lose $2 billion to corruption in Ghana every year. You tell me we think that there is corruption. Who is in the helms?
Is this same Rawlings we are talking about?
How?
How did we transition from the military rule to democracy? That is the bedrock of our problem.
My brother.
Because he made everything about himself and himself only.
Granted.
The thing has turned and we are saying that corruption is bad.
Countries go through a growth process, right? We should even be grateful to Rawlings that whilst his counterparts like Eyadema, the Cameroonian dictator, all those people who have stayed 30 years on, further destabilize their country. He got the presence of mind to say that, look, let's end the dictatorship here. Let's start on the path of democracy. In order to make the transition easier, we had a constitution that suited, of course, what a dictator turned democratic leader would be comfortable with. What stopped Kufuor from changing? Changing it? No. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, that we are blaming everybody else, but the person.
You see, I premise my argument that countries go through phases. That's how growth is everywhere.
But you see,
like for example, how Singapore developed. It was a form of a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Right? Because you had one leader for so long. You can have people in Singapore in the studio analyzing Lee Kuan Yew's time and say, oh, it could have been better if he had a shorter term or whatever. But it will not be that important in the scheme of things today because every country goes on a journey. We crossed the Rawlings journey. We crossed the 1992 Constitution journey. And we've had successive leaders we have elected on democratic grounds. What stopped them if they were truly proper democratic thinkers to change the problems of the constitution, including?
So, are you by any way saying that a current government can create a mess and the next one should come and solve it? Is that what you are driving?
That is what it's supposed to be.
No. If we are to hold people accountable, then it means that as you are reigning now, do the right thing. Don't create a mess for the next person to come and clean up. I don't subscribe to that.
Okay, so the mess...
Because you see, presidents appoint not less than 6,000 people.
Yes.
When it was you, it was okay. It was okay because we were transitioning from military to democracy. But now, the thing backfired. And now you are blaming everybody else. But the person... No, because you see, our problem now is our constitution.
Part of the problem.
Oh, our problem is the constitution.
It's part of the problem.
It is the constitution. I'm not even looking at it.
It's not entirely.
Well, it has the moral and the ethical side too.
Let me say something, and this is coming from Rawlings, and this is where I agree with you that Rawlings missed some of the opportunities. Someone was interviewing Rawlings, and he was like, look, BBC literally were giving him accolades for his charisma, from trying to turn this country back on track, getting into the trenches himself, planting, those videos of him in the farms, let's feed ourselves and all of that. And they said, so what will happen if he's not the one? And he says the ideal situation Ghana should yearn for is that it won't matter whether it's Jesus Christ, i.e. him, or the devil who comes into power. Institutions will not allow the devil exhibit his devilish traits when he gets power in this country, because there are systems to curb those excesses. Unfortunately, the constitution he left for us did not. But one thing that is underlined is that this constitution creates enough power for the right person to change the fortunes of the country. No, because once you get the right person, that person has enough power.
We have a constitution, even when someone is wrong. We literally have to petition the president to set up an inquiry to investigate the situation.
Okay, but I think the argument is changing. Seriously, now the argument is on constitution and everything.
For army or the military, yes. I am saying it is out of place, because you see, what you've heard, what you are hearing, it's not what it is. So,
no.
Because for some of us, we heard firsthand how some of these people maltreated our family members and our relatives. We saw it.
For your family members, Kalabuli people.
They were not.
How do you know?
But you see, that is the danger of military.
None of my family members.
You will be killed even before you are proven innocent.
None of my family members suffered.
That is why you may be speaking the way you are speaking.
Members suffered. No, because
you see,
I didn't have any greedy family member at Makola holding.
No. Far from that. The three court judges were not greedy. They were doing their work.
Always going to see
the Supreme Court judges were not greedy.
There's 3 out of the others that were killed.
Kwesi Pratt, Blair here, and the rest were not.
See, look, let's wrap up. What I'm saying is this. These calls, right, and this disenchantment of Ghanaians against democracy is a call for us to reassess the type of governance we have. And because of the powers given to the president and the largesse of power or governance made available to democratically elected people and their ministers and all of that, and their MPs under democracy, is the reason why we need to assess it and make sure that the right people are put in it, are running it. The disenchantment tells us that we do not have the right people in place. It's as simple as that. They themselves should check themselves. Like this siren issue we are talking about. The feeling of the political class that they need to wrestle power, so they run away from the problems. They avoid the problems that we are facing, for which we put them there, must change. Otherwise, we will have to assess autocracy.
But would this be any different if we had the military rule in place?
To assess autocracy versus democracy.
They would have oppressed us and then suppressed us.
Finally,
and impose it on us.
According to the
this ally and the military would have imposed it on us, whether we like it or not. Is that what we want?
But who says it's different?
It's different because now, because of democracy, the ally has been withdrawn.
Listen. The only advantage we have is that it has been withdrawn. But if we had gotten to Parliament and Parliament wanted to pass it, no amount of noise that you and me make will change it. That is the democracy we have. You see, you have made my point for me. The democracy we have today is no different from autocracy.
For me,
because nothing will stop them from passing it. It's a simple majority in Parliament.
Or to death. I will also say that the solution is
what's the difference?
Let's fix the constitution. Let's take some of the powers from the president to start with. And there are lots of, the review has been done by under Atamil's reign. It has been done, but we just do not want to pick it up and implement because the thing be sweet. Yes, and that is what democratically, and that is what Rollins has caused us.
They enjoy the sweet power of
but who doesn't like sweet things?
Equal to what a military.
I bet you, if you are elected president today, you review the constitution.
No, I'm a better person.
I'm saying that. I'm saying on record, if the elected president.
I'm a better person.
Oh, we knew Akufo-Addo. We knew John Mahama. We knew Atamils. None of them did.
No.
We knew Kufuor.
Then let's give
None
up
of
on
them
this country
did.
because
we won't give up.
We have 33 million greedy people. Then that's what you are saying. Okay.
But I'm saying that military rule is not the way to go. Those calling for it, they don't know what they're asking for.
As it is now is also not the way to go.
There's always some way to address that. But see, for military rule, whether you like it or yes, it will happen. And you can't do nothing about it. So pick one side. It's either you have the freedom to at least express what you feel. It's been a great discussion, and let's hear what you think in the comment section. Keep watching Sauce and Pepper.